Hello, everybody, and welcome to another session of Ask the Experts. Today, we are going to talk about the new Greek records that are exclusive on MyHeritage. My name is Daniel Horowitz, and I'm the genealogy expert at MyHeritage. I'm dedicated to genealogy since 1986, and I volunteer my time also at the Israel Research Association. And today I am very excited. That's why I'm starting sharp on time and giving my bio very resumed because I have two very special guests. I have today with me Carol Kostakos Petranek and Gregory Kontos. Hello, Carol. Hello, Gregory. How are you?
Hello, Daniel. We're so happy to be here today. Thank you for inviting us.
It's really my pleasure, Carol, and you have a blog called Spartan Roots, English and Greek, as I see. And Gregory, you are a founder of the Greek Ancestry. Is that a blog also, or it's a research company?
It's a research company and a website.
You see, so if you need somebody to help you with your research, then you already have one person locally there. But they're here to tell us, and if you are used to this as the experts, you know, first of all, that you have a way to communicate with us and to ask questions right there from the panel. And I see some of the people are already writing their questions, and we will get to them in a minute, because here this is a hands-on demonstration of how you can take advantage of MyHeritage. So today I'm gonna just sit and relax because Gregory and Carol are going to show us how you can take advantage of this special collection on MyHeritage. And I see that Gregory is already there in our search engine. And before anybody asks, I am putting in the chat a few URLs, including one very special URL that will take you straight to the Greeks collection. But Gregory, it's all yours.
Thank you, Daniel. All right, so today the idea is for Carol and I to show you how to search through the new Greek collections on MyHeritage. Here I have opened my super search page on MyHeritage, and I can just start searching for the people I'm interested in. But what I can also do is go to categories here and find the Greek collections. And I think this is the link Daniel was talking about right now. So here you can see Greece electoral rolls. These are voter lists from 1863 to 1924. Then Corfu Vital Records, 1841-1932, and Sparta Marriages, 1835-1935. So if you know that you are particularly interested in one of these collections, you can just open one of these links, and this will take you to the relevant database. So we're going to start with Sparta. This is the Sparta Marriages page on MyHeritage, and we can just start by typing the name and the first name and the last name of the person whose marriage we are trying to find. Always remember that on top here you can find a description of the collection, which includes very, very interesting and helpful information. These descriptions will always explain some things you might not be sure about. So I searched for Konstantinos Dimitrakakis, married in Sparta in 1930. Okay, so let's say this is my grandfather. So I just click enter or search. and this will take me to this page. On this page, you get all the results on MyHeritage Sparta Marriages database about Konstantinos Dimitrakakis.
Wait.
The...
Gregory, hold on 1 second. You are in Greece and you search in English, and MyHeritage found the record in Greek.
That's right. That's right, Daniel. So on MyHeritage, you can search both in Greek and English, but no matter how you search, you will get the right result, because MyHeritage has built a great algorithm, a great translation algorithm, which will give you translated records. So here is the marriage record, a marriage result for Konstantinos Dimitrakakis in 1930. So since this information is what I already have, I definitely want to click on this to find more information. So I click here, and this will take me to this page. Now, this is amazing what just happened, because with one click, you can find records which were inaccessible for decades. So this is the search, the result for Konstantinos Dimitrakakis, and here you can see all the extracted information, the marriage date, the info on the groom and the bride, their ages, their fathers' names, and the number of the document. But what's even better is that you can actually just scroll down a bit and you will see the original records. This is an index book page. This means that whenever a license for a marriage was issued, the church would register this license into this book, the index book. Using the number you have here, you can then find the corresponding record within this list. But if you click here, right, like you get this 1 of 5, so you can just select another page or just click next, and this will take you to the next page of documentation for this specific marriage. This is the letter the local priest of Anoia, near Sparta, sent to the bishop of Sparta in 1930, asking for the bishop's permission to conduct the marriage of Konstantinos Dimitrakakis. These records are extremely interesting. In many cases, here, down here, you will have signatures of everybody engaged in this marriage. Here is the date and the place where this letter was written, and here's the signature of the local priest. Within this text, you may also find additional information, like the ages and the occupations of the individuals, or even more names of relatives. And if you just click next, and again, you will get like 5 pages of records for this single marriage, which is extremely helpful for your research. On Sunday, there was another webinar by MyHeritage and about these records, and we were saying that sometimes you find really cool documents, and here we have for you one of these documents we managed to find. Actually, Carol found these documents while digitizing the marriage records of Sparta herself for multiple summers. So in this record, the local priest writes to the bishop of Sparta asking for his permission to conduct the marriage. But as you can see here on the top of the image, the priest thought there was some close kinship between the groom and the bride. So for this reason, he made family trees of both families in order to show the bishop what he was talking about. So if you can be super lucky and just find entire family trees in these records now available on MyHeritage. We will now move to to the next collection, the electoral rolls, the voter lists. Again, there's a description here which will guide you. And you can just start searching again. I'm typing in English, although I'm Greek here. So I'm looking for Panagiotis Papagiannakos. This guy was, I think, like Carol's great-grandfather or something like that. And he was born in Agios Ioannis, Sparta. So I click search, and I get the results. There are 6 records for Panagiotis Papagiannakos in Greece. And what's really interesting is that, as you can see here, there is a record for him in 1873 and another record for 1872. So 2 records, obviously for the same person from the same village, Agios Ioannis, Sparta. But if you check here, you will see that there is a slight difference in spelling. Spellings is something we have discussed extensively in Greek genealogy. It is something you always need to take into account. But what's great is that MyHeritage algorithm will still give you records, even if there are some spelling deviations. So I just searched for Papagiannakos, as you can see here, with 1 P, Pa with 1 P, but here I got records for Papagiannakos with 1 P and Papagiannakos with 2 Ps. If I click here, I will get his voter list record, his name, his age, his year of birth inferred by the age, occupation, and father's name, residence in Agios Ioannis, Sparta. And his serial number is 2146. This is very important because now I can actually just zoom in into this image and find his specific entry. 2146 is right here, Panagiotis Papagiannakos, 32 years old, son of Nikolaos, a landowner.
Gregory, can I interject something here? As you scroll down a little bit farther, you were mentioning earlier about the spelling. So if you just scroll down a little bit on the page, see where at the bottom it says, do you have an alternative? At the bottom right there, spotted an error, suggest an alternative. This is really important because let's say the name was spelled very differently than what it should be. You can just click right there on that little pencil and you can put in the correct name both in Greek and in English, and MyHeritage will then incorporate that into the record, so somebody else looking for it with a slightly different spelling will come up with that record as well. Also, I like the fact that you can put a comment in about the record underneath there where it says write your comment. And the nice thing about that is, let's say it is a direct line relative of yours. You could just say, this is my great-grandfather. And someone else who comes across that record will say, oh, okay, great, that's her great-grandfather. I have him in my family tree as a granduncle. So there's a connection between our 2 families. So both of those are wonderful ways to both amend a record and suggest connections with other people who are researching as well.
I love to hear how other genealogies use MyHeritage.
Right. And people should always remember to take advantage of all the tools provided by a database and a website like this of MyHeritage in order to excel their research. Because as you can see, there are many things you can actually do to connect with more people, to get more record results. And I repeat, always, before starting to search, always take a look at the descriptions. So now we will move to the third MyHeritage collection. It is a very, very special collection. It's about Corfu, and it covers the period 1841-1932. I am definitely interested in learning more, so I just click on the description button. And as you can read here, the vital records were created by the civil authorities. Therefore, all of the island's ethnic and religious groups are represented. Let's say I'm interested in the Jewish community of Corfu, which was very flourishing until World War II. So I'm interested in looking for this specific individual, Ευτυχία Israel. I have read a book by Yvette, and Yvette is narrating this story about a Jewish family which was saved by Greeks during World War II and escaped a Nazi extermination. So I'm looking for this Jewish girl, Ευτυχία Israel, and I click search, and I get 2 results. This is great because now I can really easily narrow down my research. I know that she was born to Savas and Rosina, so this is definitely the record I'm interested in. According to the birth date indicated here, she was born on February 20th, 1923. I guess this is what I'm looking for, so I click here, and I get the record. We did a great job, I think, in indexing these records and including as much relevant information as possible. Here is her name, her date of birth, her father and mother, and their ages, see here, an inferred year of births, but even her paternal grandfather and maternal grandfather. So just one record has given us information about 3 generations of this family: herself, her parents, and her grandparents. Scrolling down here, I can see the original record, and guess what? In this record, there might be even more information. For example, there are some occupations listed, there are some witnesses, here are some signatures of the people involved in the composition of this specific birth certificate. Always save these documents because you will need them later in your research, and always remember to cite MyHeritage for these records. You will definitely, at some point later in your research, you will definitely want to come back and check this record again. So always cite your source.
Gregory?
Here we found...
I'm sorry,
yeah.
Gregory. I just want to take advantage of that screen to give another tip to everybody who is researching those records. And you were mentioning it before with the marriages. On top of the record, you have a number of the page, but you can always browse back and forth on the pages and to a specific page or other page. And this is very important because this is a census, and you will have other people, maybe relative of those living close by or living together, and they will be appearing in close by records, and you may not know about those relatives. So always try to go a few pages back, a few pages forward, and see if you can recognize some of the names that you have over there.
Correct. Here I also managed to find, so this birth certificate told us that Ευτυχίa's parents were Savas, Israel, and Rosina. Based on this information, we looked for their marriage certificate, and we found it, of course, and it's right here. Note that in the previous record, in Ευτυχίa's birth record, Savas was mentioned as Savas, but in this record, he's called Savatos, which is really interesting. This means that you always have, as we said before, you always have to be careful with spellings, try different things, although the MyHeritage algorithm will definitely find it for you. So here is this marriage record of Savatos and Rosina. We get their ages, we get their father's names, and scrolling down, we can see the actual certificate. We can zoom in and see everything that is indicated. For example, here it even gives us the individual's occupations, and it also tells us if this was their first or second marriage. According to this marriage certificate, it was the second marriage, as indicated here, for Savatos Israel, son of Solomon.
So Gregory, can I interject something here? So I'm a Greek American, and I went to Greek school as a child, but I didn't retain very much. And I'm going to have a really hard time reading the some of these records. Is this something that you can help with? Like, if I have a question, can I send you an email? Would you be willing to assist people if they need help with understanding the records further, or even a translation?
Correct. Yeah. So I do offer help with translating such records.
Okay, great. Thanks.
And talking about Gregory, I'm sorry, talking about Chris is actually asking a question here in the panel. He was assuming that the original documents were translated manually, but I see on the record that that is not Greek, or suddenly I started to understand Greek writing. And I remember, and you were mentioning, and that is the reason why I put the Facebook page, because we did early this week a Facebook Live, and it is recorded if anybody wants to go there. You were saying that some of the records were in Greek and some were in Latin characters, but in MyHeritage, the collection will have both. We'll have all the Greeks and the Latin characters, right?
Correct. And this is very, very interesting what you just said, because this record is really written in Greek, but it is written in a handwritten, writing with the old Greek language, with all the accent marks, and it's very, very complicated. And even people in today Greece might not be able to read those. So MyHeritage Index team actually did a great job reading all this old text. Now, what's also helpful is that, as you can see here, the form was typed, and it was pretty standard. And following up on Carol's question about help with records, if you understand the format of the record, like all this text which is typed, you will eventually be able to understand the record yourself. You just need to, to pay attention here and spend some time trying to get able to understand everything on your own. And about what Daniel just said about the different communities, so therefore different languages in Corfu. Here it says the priest of the church, implying that it would be, an Orthodox church in a predominantly Orthodox country. But as you can see here, this has been crossed out by the registrar, and instead he wrote is Israelitic community, the arch rabbin, and Corfu. So this is another tip to find if this record belongs to a Christian Orthodox, or to a Jewish family, or to a Catholic family. You can always take a look here and see what's going on. I guess this is what I wanted to bring up.
Go ahead, Gregory. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is what I want to bring up. So now I guess we still have some time for questions and comments. Daniel?
Yes. But I have to agree with you. This is really incredible, and I just want to make extra sure that all this is thanks to you, to Gregory and to Carol, that actually put so much effort. And part of Chris' question was how long it took for MyHeritage, for Carol, and for Gregory to put together all this. And this is something that took years. I think, Carol, correct me if I'm wrong, it took like 3-4 years to do all this?
Well, one summer I digitized the index books, and then I went back the second summer and I digitized all the documents, which were then connected by Greg. He did a manual linkage of the documents to each record in the index book. And we also, when I went back to do the documents, we learned that there were hundreds of documents that had never made it into an index book. So Gregory actually created an index of these loose records that had never been in the Metropolis's original marriage index book. So we actually found records for them that they didn't even know they had. It was quite amazing. One of the other things too is, as we look at these Greek records, we can see that the priest handwriting is sometimes not very good. They had different ways of writing back then. It's all in script, in penmanship. As wonderful and as dedicated as these men were, many of them were not very learned. So the way they formed their letters and how the calligraphy of the documents are makes them very challenging to read. For that reason, sometimes there may be errors in how a document appears. In other words, I have an example of my great-grandfather whose name starts with the letter E, but the way the priest wrote it, it looked like the letter T, like Thomas. So when I went in and started doing some searches, I could not find his marriage record, and I knew it was there. And so there are different ways that you can navigate the website to find a record that doesn't come up the way you're spelling it. And the way you would do that in the search is you could search, like here's a search screen here. So this is perfect. So maybe instead of searching for a last name, you're going to search for a first name and the spouse's name, if you know who the spouse is, and a village or an approximate time frame. And that's how I found my great-grandfather's record. And when it came up as Taxiadhis instead of Eftaxias. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how did that happen? And when I zoomed in on the record, I could see that the priest wrote it almost illegibly. So my concern is that people are going to come into the collection, type a name the way they think it should be spelled or the way their family spells it, come up with nothing, and then say, oh, my record isn't here, when it very well could be there. Most people who are pretty proficient at searching on genealogy websites understand that they need to use variant spellings. They also understand they need to use wildcards, certain characters to fill in letters. But with Greece and these Greek records, that can not necessarily give you good results. So my counsel would be to try different ways to search these records. Search just on a place, search just on a village and a year, and don't even put a name in. And then start scrolling through to see if you can find your family. If these people were married in a region in the metropolis of Sparta, between the years of 1835 to 1935, there should be a marriage for them. If you've tried everything and nothing comes up, the possibility is that the bride could have lived in a village that was not in the metropolis of Sparta. Perhaps she was a little farther north in Arcadia. And those marriage records are not in this collection because this is the metropolis of Sparta, not the metropolis of Arcadia. So there will be some reasons why you can't find your people. Gregory and I, in our teachings, we always counsel people that they have to know the exact way the name is spelled. They have to know the exact village. And this is why you have to know the exact village. You've got to know if for sure that marriage took place in a village in the metropolis of Sparta.
And that will take care of Ioannis' question regarding marriages. It's only Sparta, and he or she, I'm sorry for that, he's very, very happy with you and with all the inputs that you both are giving to everybody. I just wanted to point out that Gregory was talking about Yvette, and that is Yvette Corporon, who wrote the book Something Beautiful Happened. And if you want to know also what is that beautiful thing that happened, you have the URL also in the chat, so you can go to the blog and learn a little bit more about that. Just before we go to the rest of the questions, very few announcements this week. Other webinars are available at familytreewebinars.com/myheritage. Those are free webinars that you can always attend live or watch the recordings later on. I invite you to other Ask the Experts. This is actually the last Tuesday that we're doing for now. From now on and during the month of July, we're reducing it to only Thursdays at 1 p.m. No, nothing serious. Everything is okay. It's just that I also need to do other things. I'm doing Ask the Experts in Spanish as well, and we are considering doing this in other languages. So keep an eye on that URL in the chat, and you will be able to see more As the Experts coming in. Also, the recordings of previous Ask the Experts are being posted in the MyHeritage Education, and that's education.myheritage.com. You have also articles that you can read, you have downloadable resources, everything totally free, and you can enjoy that at any time whenever you like. So from my side, nothing else but to thank you all for being here. Thank you to Carol and thank you to Gregory. Questions I have here, Chris asking, long time. Okay, we already did all with this. Carol is asking, not you, Carol, but another Carol, if there are more records coming in from Greece. Well, we all cross our fingers and we hope that we will be able to get more records. I'm sure Gregory will be more than happy to keep helping us with that as well.
Sure thing.
Not a word, but thanks Gregory and Carol and MyHeritage. In 24 hours, I have populated over 150 family members connection. Incredible, much gratitude. Christina, I would love to receive that story. And if anybody else has a wonderful story with this collections or any other collection in MyHeritage, please send me an email. You know already my email address is the same email address you received about this webinar and the one that you are going to receive with the recording. Just one more question, Carol. I don't want to leave you hanging on there, although it's not related to Greek records, but I'm obligated to answer. If I see a family tree on MyHeritage and want to contact the family tree manager, is there a way to do it? Yes, of course. Every time that you see the name of somebody in MyHeritage, you will be able to contact that person. Let me show you that very fast, and I'm going to take an example of a smart match that I have here. Just for you to know, MyHeritage found my individual in this family tree, and it's managed by Laura Smith. And right here, I can contact Laura and I can ask her more about that family. Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you again, Carol and Gregory, not only for all your help with these records, but also for being here today and showing us how everybody can take advantage of this collection.
Thank you. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Daniel.
Our pleasure. For all of you watching this, please take very much care of yourself and your family. Take advantage of this extra time to do a little bit of genealogy and have a wonderful week. Goodbye, everybody.